It was still dark when a 911 operator in Suffolk County picked up a call. On the other end of the line, a young woman, breathless, panicked, whispering. Her words were scattered but chilling. "They're trying to kill me." That woman was 24-year-old Shannon Gilbert, a part-time student, aspiring actress, and an escort. That night, she had accepted a job to meet a client at his home in Oak Beach, a quiet gated community tucked against the Atlantic coastline. She arrived at 2 a.m., driven by her escort agency's driver, Michael Pack. Her client, Joseph Brewer. What exactly happened inside that house remains disputed, but by 4:51 a.m., Shannon had fled into the dark streets. The 911 call lasted 21 minutes. She never stayed in one place, running between houses, screaming, knocking. One neighbor, Gus Coletti, opened the door. He would later tell police she looked terrified, like she was running for her life. And then, silence. Her phone disconnected. She vanished into the marshlands behind the homes, never to be seen alive again. The police response? Delayed, dismissive. Officers suggested she was high, hallucinating, or perhaps just trying to avoid arrest. They didn't treat it as a crime. There was no all-night search, no helicopters, just paperwork. But one person refused to accept their story. Mari Gilbert, Shannon's mother, would spend the next decade unraveling a mystery that would lead to the discovery of a serial killer's playground. To the public, Shannon Gilbert was just another lost name in the system. But to her mother, Mari, she was a daughter with dreams, a young woman who had struggled but never stopped hoping. And she would not be written off. While others moved on, Mari dug in. She hounded detectives, emailed reporters, appealed to every news station that would listen. She even hired a private investigator to do what the police wouldn't: search for her daughter. Days turned to weeks, weeks to months. Birthdays and holidays came and went. But the Gilbert family held on. Mari's 3 other daughters joined the effort, following every thread, every rumor. Then, in December of that year, Suffolk County Police returned to Oak Beach with cadaver dogs. Not because of pressure, but by chance. They were retracing steps, just in case, but what they found wasn't Shannon. Instead, it was a woman wrapped in burlap, half buried near Ocean Parkway, and then another body, and another. 4 total, none of them Shannon, but all of them escorts. All missing within the last few years. The media erupted. Suffolk County Police had stumbled onto a killing ground, a serial killer's graveyard, hidden in plain sight. Mari Gilbert stood on the crime scene perimeter, cameras in her face, questions swirling. But all she cared about was one thing. Where is Shannon? Her fight, fierce and unrelenting, would shift public pressure, embarrass the department, and ignite one of the most complex investigations in modern Long Island history. She wasn't just searching for her daughter. She was exposing a nightmare buried in the sand. After the first body was discovered in December 2010, Suffolk County Police expanded their search. Cadaver dogs, forensic teams, and helicopters swept the coastline. What they uncovered was worse than anyone imagined. Within 4 months, more remains surfaced: skulls, bones, partial torsos. 10 victims in total. Most were young women working as escorts. Many were wrapped in burlap, a disturbing detail that suggested planning and concealment. But 2 victims didn't fit the pattern. An unidentified Asian male wearing women's clothing. A toddler girl, barely a few years old. Was the killer escalating? Was someone else using the same burial site? The press dubbed him the Gilgo Beach Killer. FBI profilers painted a picture. White male, late 30s to 50s, organized, intelligent. Possibly someone with law enforcement knowledge. He used burner phones, alternate email accounts, fake names. He left almost no physical evidence, No hair, no fingerprints, no DNA, but one detail stood out. After one woman disappeared, her phone was used. Not by her, but by the killer.
"You'll never find her."
He called her sister, taunting. The call was traced to Manhattan, a busy intersection, a dead end. Despite public pressure, Suffolk County Police downplayed the connection. They claimed Shannan Gilbert didn't belong to the list. They insisted she drowned in the marsh, a tragic accident. But Mari wasn't convinced. Nor were the growing number of people rallying behind her. 10 victims, one mother still searching, a serial killer still out there, and the one person who might have exposed it all, still missing. While the investigation into the other 10 victims surged ahead, one name still hung in silence: Shannan Gilbert. Her body had not been found. Her case, police claimed, was unrelated. But Mari Gilbert wasn't done. She organized new searches, brought in private experts. One of them, John Ray, the Gilberty family attorney, began collecting witness statements, uncovering chilling details the police had overlooked. Some locals claimed they saw Shannan running. Others reported hearing screams. A few believed she had been chased, not hallucinating, but fleeing something or someone. In December 2011, 19 months after she vanished, her remains were finally discovered. In the very marsh she'd disappeared into, just 500 yards from where she was last seen. Next to her body, her purse, her jeans, her shoes, her phone. Scattered, like she'd dropped them while running. But the official cause of death? Undetermined. Suffolk police said she drowned, but the coroner couldn't confirm it. So, Mari brought in Dr. Michael Baden, one of the nation's leading forensic pathologists. He concluded that Shannan may have been strangled. Her hyoid bone was missing, often broken in manual strangulation, and yet still, the police stood firm. No foul play. But public support was growing, for Mari, for Shannan, and for a new theory, that Shannan didn't just expose a killer, she may have been his first victim. Mari wouldn't let it rest. She pushed the story back into headlines, called out officials by name. Her crusade wasn't just for her daughter anymore. It was for every victim, buried and ignored. And with that fire, she brought new eyes to a case law enforcement wanted to forget. For over a decade, the case remained cold. But in July 2023, a stunning breakthrough. A suspect was arrested in connection with the Gilgo Beach murders. His name, Rex Heuermann, a 59-year-old Manhattan architect. A man who lived just 30 minutes from Gilgo Beach. Married, 2 kids. No one suspected a thing. Inside his home, burner phones, disturbing internet searches, and DNA evidence matching a hair found on burlap. The very same burlap used to wrap victims. Heuermann had allegedly stalked his victims, contacted them using fake identities, met them, murdered them, and disposed of their bodies in the sand. 3 victims were linked to him immediately: Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. But investigators believe there may be more. What shocked the world wasn't just his alleged crimes, but the life he lived while hiding them: day job, family. Neighbors described him as quiet, ordinary. Court proceedings are ongoing. Heuermann has pleaded not guilty, but prosecutors say the evidence, digital and forensic, tells a different story. And yet, even with the suspect in custody, many questions remain unanswered, including the biggest one of all. Was Shannan Gilbert one of his victims? Shannan's case is still officially ruled as accidental, but without her, none of this might have come to light. A mother's fight, a daughter's fear, and a 21-minute call that echoed across decades, exposing the secrets buried in the sand.